So then this is in the vagina, and then you have a really sexy string that dangles.
I know about that. I've seen that before. All right.
Stool Scenes episode 91.
It's lit.
We're the lit boys. Every day we lit, folks. Check out this flame. Big flame, big fire. Listen, folks, it's November 30th. It's almost December, and that means one thing. We're going to get into a cheating scandal. Is Jeff D-Lo cheating?
Lit.
Fucking nervous. I've never lost Big If True trivia.
Here it is. This is it.
So we have a caller that has lived like in a billion different states.
Turn the speakers up.
Billion different states. They're doing fast food. The caller gets it because he's lived in like a billion different states. Jeff Lowe goes in there, and it's taking, I mean, these are the hard questions. It's taking like 2 seconds to answer a question. He's definitely cheating.
475.
And with that, you take the win.
Whoa, how much is it?
630.
Wow, okay. That's the thing. I've lived in New England. I've lived now in like New York. I was in Pennsylvania.
This is spin zone. He's also in charge of the Excel file that they use with the questions. That's the point that he's actually the most important point, and he's leaving it out. he runs the Excel sheet. Yes, you've lived in New England or whatever, but you run the Excel sheet too.
With the questions?
Yeah.
From investigative story. These are heavy allegations. I mean,
Illusion. I'm here for it.
we don't have definitive proof, but
You know what? You think if it's true.
A lot of people are kind of suspicious about Jeff D's accuracy. They think he controls the questions and knows.
I think Jeff just really knows fast food. He knows a shitload about fast food. And if you look at him, he's not like looking up answers or anything while he's
But he
doing it.
has them before on his Excel file.
He doesn't make the fast food questions. He doesn't make his own category questions. It's
You're
Kinjack.
saying nothing's afoot.
I'm saying talk to Kinjack about it because I think Kinjack makes his questions.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know for the investigation.
So there might be, I don't know, maybe between the two of them, they spend a lot of time together.
They look alike.
They look a little bit alike, yeah. 2 white guys with dark hair. It's very rare in the parcel office. Also, I think it's a good like kind of specific category for him.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing football, geography, history. Those are really wide open. So I feel like it's easier to beat somebody in a wide open category than like a very specific one. All right, let's go.
I'm not at liberty to talk about an ongoing investigation, so we'll get back to that.
We won't put this out until the investigation's concluded.
Well, it might
so
not
give
be
us
concluded
your
yet.
thoughts.
I can't bust this investigation just yet. Plus, you're too close to it. You sit too close to the situation.
I
don't know
want
if
to
I
see
can
it
trust
end.
you.
Fucking rat trying to turn on me. You might be a part of it.
I might be a part of helping Jeff get a perfect record.
Some people think that. We
Let him
can't roll
come.
anybody out.
I don't
for the
know,
investigation
I
to
don't know who's
conclude.
a part of what, but there's something fucking fishy going on this show, and it needs to be brought up.
Yes.
It really needs.
Some stuff's gonna get brought to light. People might get taken out of office. Who knows?
I got some news for you. He was challenged again. He went 3 for 3. Are you surprised? Are you?
No. Jeff D is streets alive.
PFD's in a world of hurt right now.
What
World of hurt right now.
Because I know that I lost honestly. No, I wasn't talking about Jeff there. I was just talking about myself. Like I can live with myself because I didn't cheat and I lost. And you know what? There's honor in that.
Rebuttal?
There's
Not about Jeff.
But maybe about Jeff.
do people who wants to be a millionaire, do all of them get fucking told they're cheating? No. When I just know a lot about comic book movies and Star Wars and fast food chains.
There's some serious controversy.
I mean,
Everybody's protective of their records. It's like
Still lit.
Big If True. It's a great game show. A lot of trivia questions going on. Everyone's answering questions. As you saw in the last segment, Jeff D-Lo came under a lot of heat. They're like, is Jeff D-Lo cheating? Is he too good? Is he just good enough? What's going on? My good friend Zah, Team Portnoy member, he's very, very suspicious. He might be going crazy. We don't even know, but he is hot on Jeff's tail.
He's fucking lit.
So here's what's going on. This whole Jeff Lowe situation on Big If True, it is some deep shit. Just some backstory. They just added a category to Jeff Lowe. I think they switched it from like Star Wars. I forgot what they switched it from. But it's the name, the theme music for like TV shows and all that nonsense. Just added that. So I'm not too sure who exactly came up with the questions for Jeff. I think it might be Ken Jack or Devlin, whoever came up with the questions. They identified 2 theme songs. So just yesterday, while we were some deep shit. I need to watch out for Jeff Lowe, but anyway, while we were on the show, I mean, it's serious shit. You're laughing, white people. This is actually serious. This is actually serious. Yeah, yesterday while we were on the show, Devlin, in front of my eyes, I think there was Devlin was in the control room, Colby. There was a lot of people. So there's actual witnesses that saw this happen. In front of my eyes, our eyes, he goes onto his laptop just to listen to, you know, how the music sounds and all that. We have a YouTube account that we use for our streaming to cut the clips that everyone that works on radio has access to. Jeff Lowe works on radio. That's a fact. Works on radio. Fact. So he goes and he types in Walker, Texas Ranger music. Guess what happened? Yo, that bitch came up a purple. That means that someone was searching that theme song. I mean, people are gonna cry. He's gonna cry coincidence. This is what's gonna happen. He's gonna cry coincidence, but that is not a fucking coincidence. No one is playing Walker, Texas Ranger, whatever, on their radio show. To make it worse, another song that he added, that Married with Children theme song, which we asked him today. Both those songs we asked him today, by the way. He nailed it. Nailed it. That's also suspicious. That Walker with the Married with Children shit up came up purple too. So you tell me, the guy he is the one that controls the spreadsheet with the scores. He does the graphics and all that. He claims that they picked other people to pick the questions that people ask them. But if you have the fucking master key, and even though you delegate Ken Jack to do the work, but you have the master key. I mean, call me crazy, but
I mean, Ken Jack's also suspicious, isn't he?
The whole fucking show, everyone that works on that show is suspicious. That's the thing. So we're just waiting to just be able to corner him and just be like, all right, this is what's going on. But that's what's going on, and
so this is
just some big time
I'm
fraud.
not playing is right now. From what I've heard, there's going to be a sting operation that comes to a head tomorrow.
So I'm only a moving piece in the sting op. We actually haven't heard the grand master plan. I hold that crucial evidence, the evidence that I just told you now, that gets you locked up anyway. Mm-hmm. So that's as far as I know, but we're gonna test them. We're gonna find ways to try to figure out. Oh, and today, by the way, called it. I don't know, you weren't available at the time. Called exactly which questions that he was gonna get wrong. It's this whole conspiracy.
It stinks to high
this
heads.
Conspiracy things. This goes from being a conspiracy to actually just this is actual real life. It's listen to this horseshit. The first set of questions, right? He comes out, answers the first one, gets it right. After answering the first one and getting it right, guess what he asks? Do I have to get the next one to win the challenge? He's definitely cheating. If you're asking how many you have to get right to win the challenge, you're definitely cheating. He needs to know what he needs to do to win or lose.
Oh, because he wants to know how much
he's
to
trying
answer
to make himself. Yeah, he's trying to make himself lose today so that streak is over.
And he doesn't want to get all 3 if he doesn't have to. Like, say the other person got 1, he's like, oh, let's get 2.
Because he knows people aren't there. He's cheating. He's cheating. It has to.
I don't know if I subscribe by that theory.
I forgot another important tidbit. Guess what? Guess what has a password now? All of a sudden, the Excel sheet.
You think he's going crazy, or you think Jeff D's really?
I think he might be going a little crazy, but sometimes that's what it takes to crack a case.
There's a whole lot of fuckery going on on this show that we need to get figured out.
What are you talking about, mayors? Do you mean the Man of Steel question?
Yeah, I'm talking the whole show. There's something fishy going on that I'm gonna get to the bottom of.
Zod's got like 8 investigations simultaneously going on.
I'm literally there. I just need that conclusive piece of evidence that gets a man locked up.
By how much did Infinity War, the 4th highest grossing film of all time, make at the box office?
$2 billion.
2,105,000,000.
You son of a bitch.
You no. No, you lost by 5 million.
What did he guess?
He guessed 2.1 and you guessed 2.105.
So the streak's over. What was it on?
Comic book movies. And actually, the final question was very close. It was like, what was the total gross? And Jeff guessed 2.1 billion. Oh no, Jeff guessed like 2.105 billion, and the guy guessed like 2.1 billion, and the answer was 2.05 billion. So,
Oh, wow.
both very good guesses.
It's litmus.
Listen, folks. Jeff D, did he cheat? Did he not? We don't know. Some people think Zao went crazy. Some people think the investigation ended too early. Unfortunately, Jeff D, he caught an L, and people really stopped caring. Anyways, let's get to the next topic, folks. I gotta be honest, we didn't see this coming. Francis and Ellie, they've had a little broiling, simmering. I didn't see this coming, folks, but it was the first card in a house of cards of drama to fall. Francis and Ellie, we got something going on here. Let's take a look.
This stove was lit.
We'll both fight each other completely sick. I'll be so dehydrated and you'll be so unhappy. Lumbering around.
I don't know how to do this because I don't get in fights very often. But I just feel like my good name is being slandered and I want to...
Yeah, I'll bet all your fans love to watch My Little Pony, huh? Is that it? Bunch of kid girls that shouldn't be on the internet. You know, Ellie comes into Barstool, she gets hired based on her Twitter, and then like tweets these incendiary gender equality, fucking low-hanging fruit shit, goes viral to the moon. Next thing you know, she's like, I deserve a podcast. Get out of here.
When Francis gets a tweet over, 10,000 likes? Then he'll feel better and stop coming at me.
I have one of those.
One?
I had done that once. Yeah. One time I was doing it, I questioned my sexuality.
10,000, that's really cute.
Get out of here, man. I don't want you part of this. Guy's always watching movies like a loser.
I feel like I shouldn't be mean to someone who's so much lesser than me.
You know, when it comes down to it, how do you really determine who's a better person? You decide via fighting. And I could literally beat the shit out of Ellie. I'll see you at Rough and Rowdy 7. I'll be there.
I don't know. I think he's very self-conscious. I could probably psychologically destroy him. I have a blog that I'm writing about him. But I'm really bad at,
Trash talk?
Yeah.
What's this now? We're back at this again? You know, when I look at you, it hurts my eyes because I have to look so far down.
Francis, your beard looks really nice.
God damn you, Ellie. Killing me with kindness. It's my kryptonite.
I'm not going to be mean to you, Francis, because I don't have to.
Your day will come. Rough and Rowdy. I'm gonna punch her one time, and it's gonna kill her. And then I'll make sure I have her Twitter password.
No.
Or I'll just take your phone. I'll just take your phone and hack it, and go onto her Twitter and be like, yo, follow @Francis Barstool. And then I'll get so many of those little dweeby chicks.
Still lit.
Listen, folks, everyone has a workplace where they go to every day, and they probably feel pretty particular about it. When people start adding in desks, chairs, new roommates, oh boy, things can get super spicy, super lit. And Francis was not happy, Smitty was not happy, and Gaz was sitting there stirring the cauldron. And you know what you put a cauldron over?
I fucking lit. No, I didn't. I just. A fire!
They're moving a desk right behind, I guess, Francis's desk. You pissed, Francis?
I don't even know what to say. I'm so mad.
He's packing up. He's packing up. He's going home.
This is a joke.
What's wrong with her day?
I can't back up. Every time one of you walks by, you bump me like a fucking... We shouldn't have hired so many people so fast. The second floor is objectively a joke. The second floor is a joke. It's like when you go to a nightclub and you're like, somebody call the fire marshal right now. This is totally illegal.
Building settlements on the West Bank. That is the West Bank of our office, too.
They got a refugee camp over there.
They just came in and occupied Francis' space.
If Liz was sitting there the other day, she would have got hit before you did. So.
Something to think about.
I dare more paintballs to fly around in this office.
Whoa.
Francis, more like France lit.
Listen, folks, I got a text message that said, hey, things are going down on the second floor. No cameras on the second floor. Everyone starts scrambling into position. We get there. There's some sort of tension going on. Francis, Liz Gonzalez, they're mad at each other. Two people, not afraid to mix it up. I mean, this is a battle that we had to tune in for. Let's check it out, folks.
For once, the second floor was lit.
What's up?
Huh?
You're disrupting the peace. I'm kidding.
Situation untenable
No,
already?
it's fine. It's fine. I think she,
Guys, how are you adjusting?
It's good to have everyone in
Liz,
here.
if you want to talk in private, I'm happy to do that.
Sure. Let me get this up.
Damn.
Sorry, stool scenes.
They can handle it however they want. I think they're really mad at each other. I'd love to know why, but
Liz and I are going to talk.
About what?
And sort it out.
Sort what?
There's really no reason to, I think we're both pretty good at this sort of thing. All right, we're going to talk.
Should I come in or?
No. The whole point of it.
Here, take my phone. It's gonna be on record, but just take my phone.
What actually happened was on the radio, Francis said that the whole reason that he couldn't publish the blog was because Liz had gotten in Ellie's ear and turned it into a big thing, and he was upset that Liz made it seem way more serious than it was, in turn got Ellie upset, and she kept bringing it up and up and up, and so then Francis got quoted by Deke Zucker who took some things out of context, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Francis said that Liz hates women. You be the judge. Why are you gonna go behind a closed door? Are you actually mad about this?
My only issue with all this is still the tweets. Deke Zucker. That horrifies me. Very out of context with no tone.
Everyone's such a fucking baby. Grow up. It's a joke. You're on radio. This is what we're doing. We're making content. Again, not the best quote to have out there.
she's like, are you mad? And he's like, I mean, it's not ideal. It's kind of ridiculous that I have to split a desk over here. So then Spider put a desk together for her here, but she didn't really ask anyone. And I was like, whatever, that's fine. She sits down, it's cool. Then the next day, there's another desk going up. So I immediately invited Ellie over because she's small and also Francis hates her. So they're packed in here. And then the whole blog thing happened between Ellie and Francis. And then I don't know how Liz got involved in that. That's where
blog thing. I don't even know what that
Ellie wrote a blog. Basically, Francis challenged Ellie to a fight on Twitter, on Rough and Rowdy. Ellie wrote a hilarious blog ripping Francis. Francis wrote a 15,000 word blog rebuttal. Yeah. But it got shot down for posting. Now I don't know how Liz is in. I don't know how Liz had anything to do with that. But then Liz got dragged into it, and now he was ripping her on radio, and then they were texting back and forth, and then I think Francis blocked her on text because he's like, "Fuck her," and now they're talking it out off camera, which is what we love here.
Damn. Oh yeah. Wait till Dave gets here.
Dave's rolling over in his grave wherever he is right now.
He'll be in here. He said he's coming in at 10:30. So.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
You can call him.
I mean, they've been in there for 20 minutes.
Punches were thrown. Barely survived.
Who won the fight? You?
There was a misunderstanding and it has been resolved.
You won. You won the fight.
It's not the first time someone's gotten in something with Liz,
I would say Liz won by me realizing I was wrong. I misunderstood the whole situation. Sometimes my temper gets in the way of.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are we about our situation over here? We good now?
I think that's going to be the big conflict for next week.
Next week? This is going into next week?
We've settled the whole Ellie Schnitt problem.
on.
Yeah, you and I.
Oh, right.
Major issues.
Huge.
Guess what? Rough and Rowdy's back on, babe.
I will fight you at something we're equally good at.
Like chess?
Like blogging? How about that? How about you guys have a blog off?
Well, we tried that.
No, what we would have to do.
Francis submitted.
I did.
He knew he couldn't battle
like a
wits.
really good bowler or something sneaky.
Francis couldn't battle wits with Illinois State Girl. Part was the bum part.
Honestly, Ellie was totally fine with everything. I think that I realized that her blog was very funny and about one picture of me, and I was trying to take down her entire livelihood.
So she came at you with a knife and you came back with like a nuclear bomb?
That was tone deaf on my part, and I appreciate
Did you read it?
I read it.
And everyone else.
Was there any parts where you were like, you went a little too far there?
No, not really.
Ellie was a very good sport about the whole thing.
What?
Closed door meeting. You can't do that. For 19 minutes.
About what?
Are you not aware of what happened?
Vaguely something you wrote a blog to attack Elliot and Liz prevented it from going or something.
That was my understanding, and it was, I think, a little bit of a misconception. The reality was, Ellie and I had a beef.
About what? How are you two beef?
It was for fun. We were kidding.
Okay.
The idea was that I was going to fight her in Rough and Rowdy. I mean,
I doubt that was going to happen.
right,
okay.
exactly. So the whole thing was a joke. It was like me attacking this, lovely young woman.
Okay.
It was funny. We did it on the rundown. All this.
So when did it turn into a closed door meeting?
Well, then Ellie wrote a blog about a picture of me that was very funny, attacking me and with a bunch of great jokes. And then I wrote a response blog that was way too much. It was way over the top.
You're agreeing that was over too much?
I have been taught that what I
shaking his
wrote
head no.
was over the top.
Ellie read it.
I didn't think it was.
I have been shown the light. And I was under the impression that you vetoed my blog.
No, I don't have time for that.
So the blog never went, and I was frustrated by that. And then
Where's the blog?
We trashed it.
I vetoed it.
Why?
Because it was too much. I would have never posted that in a million years. It was the meanest thing I ever written.
It was really fun.
It was meaner than anything I ever said.
That's ridiculous.
So you agree with 2 minutes?
It was the meanest thing I've ever read.
I'm having conflicting people. Like he's saying no, Pat's saying no.
He's just trying to stir the pot. He don't know.
I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
It was not meaner than anything I've ever written about Smitty. The basis was that...
Did you read it?
Did you tell Smitty to kill himself?
Did anyone on Team Fortnite read it?
I read, I think, a watered-down version of it that I thought was fun, but I didn't see the original.
Yeah, we cut out some pieces, and then we decided not to run it.
How's she involved?
Well, I thought, because of their radio discussion yesterday, I thought, based on like Deke Zucker tweets, that...
So far I'm on Francis' side, but I have to read the blog. I don't know what could be like that vicious.
Francis' blog was like, cut you to the core, like, say every mean thing.
Like, what do you do? What's your job here? And then I was like, the college you went to isn't good. And then I was like, I took everything a bunch of tweets she had said and tore them apart.
Okay, I don't know.
Gaz really gassed you. He's really been gassed. He put me in the gas chamber. Yeah. Wait. So what? and Ellie and I were laughing about it, and I thought it was funny. The next day, Ellie wrote a blog about me, very funny, full of like jokes, knocking a picture of me, playing off me being a douchebag and having a wealthy parents.
Yep. I've heard this was like the meanest blog ever written.
But that's Nate saying that.
Okay, so that's, yeah.
And
so,
I don't understand that. Sometimes Nate has never seen a mirror in his life. The thing was that I always intended to take the blog to Ellie before I published it. And just be like in a quiet setting where she could... I would hope that she would have the ability to say, like, I don't feel comfortable with this. This is going to cause problems for me. And I would never have published it. All along, Ellie and I were on the same page. The concept of a fight stemming from Rough and Rowdy proposal between two people who are in vast different weight classes is funny. So I wrote this blog coming back at Ellie that I thought was very much in the tone of our typical Barstool stuff. And the main theses of the blog, the points were that I thought she went to a really bad college. I was going to go take it to Ellie and talk to her about it because the whole thing was between the two of us. But then Nate previews it, Liz previews it.
Hold on.
Did he preview it without, like, by himself?
Yeah.
Or did you ask him?
No, he previewed it without me asking him. He was like, I read it.
That's a weird move.
I
Don't
read
touch
it.
another man's blog.
He's like,
Don't touch
I read
another
it.
man's blog.
It's the meanest thing I've ever seen. Like, you can't publish this. And then Liz was like, yeah, you can't. She was like, you want to hear my opinion? And I was like, no. And but then they all kind of started jumping in and offering, like, here's why.
Wait, hold on. Let me back up here. You write this blog. Who had K Marco's gonna obviously.
K Marco had a meeting or something. So
Okay.
he was like, we got to look at it together. And I was like, yeah, I get that.
Right,
I was like,
of
we'll
course.
talk about it.
Smart move by him.
And then he walks out. But then
everyone
else
read
started
it on their
piling
own.
In. Yeah.
Okay, weird move. Yeah, I don't
And-
really understand why people were just reading your blog.
Yeah, and then of course, sadly, Ellie read it, previewed it, probably because someone showed her how to do that.
Yeah.
And before I was able to be like, hey, I wrote this thing, I just wanted to run it by you.
You think Liz showed her?
100%.
Okay, so that's where the Liz comes in.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
What? Can you just give us the gist of whatever your and Liz meeting was?
We had a meeting because it was toxic. It was bad, and I'd rather like sort things out in an amicable way
Fair.
than continue to like let the fireworks fly and blow things up for the sake of content.
So, and I'm sure there'll be people who be like, oh man, like the closed door, this all
Players
needs
only.
to be right.
Well,
this all
everyone-
needs to be on camera. I mean, I've done closed door meetings. Like
Yeah.
it's sometimes it's a point of like there's things that happen that are obviously out there, but we also have to work with each other.
Exactly.
And you have to get on the same page sometimes. Because yes, we are very open with a lot of stuff. Yes, there's a lot of video that comes out. YP does a great job. What's his name? YP Jr. does it. Rudy.
It's fucking reasonable that Liz would want to make sure that this
Right.
new hire, just out of college, who's not that familiar with Barstool, would know what was going to be the result of me writing a 2,000-word hit piece on her.
We all have people in this office who we will protect
Yes,
and come
exactly.
to their aid and have their back in situations
Right.
like
So
that.
I backed off and I said, hand up, I apologize. I also said some things about her on the radio. I said, or this morning I was like, Liz attacks all the women she works with. That was...
Yeah, that was the I-raised one. That was the I-raised one. That was my I-raised one too.
I should never have said that.
Yeah, that was a wild one.
I apologize
Where'd
for
that
that.
Lit. Listen, folks. Dave came in. He was trying to find answers. What happened? Where did the blog go? Will it be rescued? Who killed it? Let's get to the bottom of it. Investigation in the office on Barstool Radio. Where is this blog? Who said what? Let's get into it.
But that was...
watered down is watered down. I mean, you can be a savage. I know that, Francis. But like what I said myself, if you went too far, people would just turn it on you.
I felt pretty good that what I had written was within the lines of the fake, funny beef that Ellie and I had cooked up together.
Yeah. So this is an outrageous thing, and is Liz there?
Yeah, she's here.
My shoes are tied.
The way this event has been described to me, and we'll see if Liz concurs, is that Francis wrote a response blog to Ellie, put it in the drafts. Liz read it in the drafts, decided it was too mean to be published about Ellie, and intervened to make sure it was not published.
No, I did not intervene in any way, shape, or form. I never even talked to Keith about it.
There's just no way this is true, what you're saying. The blog, if not for you, the blog would have been published.
I never spoke to Keith about it. I talked to you, and I was like, all right, I'm done. And I talked, and I looked at it because I think out of everybody in the office, I'm probably the one that's closest to Ellie. So I thought, I'll look at it from like her perspective, and I'll gauge if I think that it's crossed the line. And the only thing I told you was that I thought the first paragraph was really harsh. I was like, the rest of it's fine. The first paragraph was really harsh.
Like,
that's
she
literally all I
shouldn't
said
be
to you, and
going
I said,
to
you know what,
Francis'
you do what you
blog to see if it would
want.
be
And then
okay
you
for
kept
Ellie.
debating, well, do I do this? Do I do that? And I was like, you know what?
That's
If
like the biggest problem.
you really want your answer, you should go straight to Dave.
I just said, hey, Keith, it's ready to go. And he said, okay. And he was like, oh, we should change a couple things. Took out the first paragraph, took out a couple other little jokes. And then he was like, okay, it's ready to go.
Something doesn't add up. I don't know what it is, and I'm in Nantucket trying to get my Christmas stroll on, Tommy, you're gonna have to sniff this one out, pal.
I think if the real piece then is Keith.
So Keith, it's all you then. I don't know what the.
Yeah,
what
I didn't
Liz
post it. I didn't post it. Yeah, it's my call.
Clearly, I totally disagree with that call, but I mean, Keith made the call, so I don't know what Liz has to do with it.
Well, you have a tough line
I
to
don't
read.
agree.
Like you're very inconsistent about what you want posted and what you don't want posted.
Well, not with internal Barstool drama. Not.
I didn't know if you wanted a 21-year-old girl who wasn't comfortable with the blog written about her to have it posted, ripping her
Well,
apart.
what is that part though? She wrote.
I
the
edited
first
it out
blog,
like half of the meanest shit. Is this a
But
new
I
girl?
mean, no. But she wrote the first blog, so once you do that, if he goes over the line, like he'll get crucified. Francis would for going over the line. But I haven't heard anybody say. So did Ellie say she was uncomfortable to you about it?
No comment.
That is the spot right there. That the whole issue.
Why are you so on the side of like hiding an inner office rivalry?
Because I read it, I just thought it was over the top. I thought it was over the line.
I know you never said anything like that to me.
Doesn't make any sense.
I learned from the past that
Over the line in what sense? He didn't like call her like the C word.
that would have been nicer.
It wasn't.
so there
It wasn't malicious.
That's
Or it didn't come from a
I
malicious
don't agree with
stance. It
that.
came from
I
a
don't
humorous.
He didn't like make fun of her family.
What about
did
Donovan
with
McNate?
her
Would he have
blog
published it?
very funny.
He's
No.
pretty savage.
Well written, and I applaud
CBS
that.
would've.
But to me, that's like, okay, I'm in the mix. So you're in the mix.
Okay, Ellie wrote one paragraph about Francis fucking a horse. Francis wrote about 5,000 words about how she's worthless. No one here thinks she does anything. She's lazy. She has no talent. She brings nothing to the table. No one even knows she's in the office every day because she's a lazy piece of shit. I didn't think that was the image we wanted of this new girl that you spent a lot of money to hire and turn all of our readers, commenters,
But
Reddit
Francis
posters against her.
generally writes funny. Like, it may be over the top.
Yeah, no
but
shit, he writes funny. He also writes fucking really smart, intelligent, barbed comments that really dig at like the core of who you are. It wasn't like it wasn't saying like
that you thought it was very funny.
yeah, it was once I edited out the mean stuff. It was funny, and I thought once I edited it, it was good to go. And he said he didn't want to, and so then 2 hours later, he decided it was okay. And after having some other conversations, I decided we shouldn't post it. And I thought that's something you would agree on. However, you change your mind a lot about what you want posted on the site. A couple years ago, I would have never thought in a million years we wouldn't want a blog calling Rihanna fat up on the site, and that turned into a disaster. So I don't know what you're thinking every different day when you have different opinions on things.
Well, I mean, you know that there's certain things we can't talk about with that one.
Yeah, I didn't think we wanted to talk about our 21-year-old female employee who just got here, tearing her apart and ruining her career before it even started.
But it's not going to ruin the career. She wrote the first. It's like when Rhea ran into the radio room. I never stepped back from that.
Yeah, I know she wrote the first one. I just said that. She wrote that he fucked a horse, and it was funny for like a paragraph. Frances wrote 5,000 words, ripping her entire career and her whole business being here apart. And yes, I did think it was funny, and that's why I said I could post it. But then, after having other conversations, because it's not just, I don't just take my opinion into account with something serious like this, and it did not seem like it was a good idea for this to go up publicly.
The blog up.
What? Yeah, it's up. I put it up.
The original of the Watered Down.
Francis added back the lines that I had taken out. Some of them. Somewhere, whatever he could remember, he put some back in.
Okay.
I took out a rape comment. I took out a domestic violence comment.
What was the
took
rape
out
comment?
The rape fantasy comment I took out. I took out the domestic violence analogy you used. I used out you calling her a bitch. I used out you calling her like a fucking something.
I understand your opinion on that, but me in writing it, my thought was that it was always going to be kind of funny that I would come off as angry as I was at a 21-year-old girl.
I understand the humor of it. I understand what was funny about it. The comments that you made, you are very smart and a very talented writer, and you very smartly know how to take shots at someone that aren't just funny like, haha, look at you, like, you are fucking worthless to this company. What are you doing here? I did not think that's the position we wanted to put a new 21-year-old female employee in on her first couple of months in this office. And I'm sorry that I was wrong. I'll just post everything from now on, and we'll see what happens.
To a degree, Keith, you've already said it. You're like, yeah, it was very funny. Yes, you had to edit or water it down. I could see that occasionally because Francis is Francis. But, I mean, you said you thought it was funny. If you think it's funny, Francis thinks it's funny, I'm not sure what changes where like your original instinct is probably correct, where it's like, well,
because it's about Ellie. Because it's about Ellie. There's a very clear, like, no matter what you say, there's a very clear double standard about who you can talk about. If this blog was about Nate, I would have added my own fucking jokes to it and then posted it. It's about Ellie, and I.
That's not fair.
Yeah, of course it's not fair in a perfect world, but it's different.
No, but it's not fair because it's not. This was out of the clouds. She wrote a blog about Francis.
Yeah, it wasn't an equal response.
But it doesn't.
That's fine. Yes, I hear your point now. I hear your point now. If I could go back to yesterday, this would have been published immediately. I hear your feedback. My thought process was that we would not, as a company, want this posted about Ellie, and we would not want hit pieces from Deadspin saying, Harvard-educated 32-year-old man shits down the throat of 21-year-old little blonde girl.
I'm 29.
That was my thought process. If I could change that, then I would change that right now, and I will, going forward, I will keep that in mind that anyone at this office is fair game no matter what the response is.
And by the way, that is a different, I'll grant you that. We know we deal with that, like the Deadspin opening it up for them, but that was not the, like, yes, Ellie, I want her to be great. I want her to.
We need the 454.
Once you write a blog about one of our, like a blogger, they can write back. They assume they're going to get it. They wouldn't write it in the first place. I don't think it's fair then for whoever was telling you by being like, oh, this might be too harsh. Like, well, you wrote it. And if it is too harsh, guess what? You know who's going to feel the fire? Francis. Like, everyone's going to turn on Francis and be like, that was too far, you fucking dickhead.
Okay.
Because Ellie's great, so this has nothing to do with, like, and even I think he wrote it just. And I actually don't think Francis would ever write something like that seriously, which is part of the whole thing to begin with. But once you interject yourself into it, you're in it. Like you can't step back from that. You know, that's how I view it.
All right, we got to hit a break. We're gonna hit our final break. We come back, we'll wrap up.
I'm gonna go Stroll.
Go Stroll, Dave. Thank you for chiming in. Looks like we got to the bottom of this. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Francis. We're gonna hit a break. We'll be back.
I said yesterday on radio. Oh, that. The instant I read the Ellie blog, it reminded me of a less hateful blog than when Francis was here his first month and Hank wrote about him.
Yeah.
Like.
So what does that mean?
That means, like, Hank wrote about Francis a year ago or 2 years ago within the first month and completely eviscerated him maliciously. Francis did, like, a funny version of that, which came from not a place of malice, but a place of humor.
Or, like, even go to YouTube and grab.
That's just my opinion, though. And the fact that Hank could publish that from the clouds and it just be laughed at, and this is getting argued. Especially when certain people have come at me before and other people.
Any thoughts on Nate being a piece of shit? You want to say anything like right now?
I
Inflammatory?
don't
You
think.
guys
You're such a dick.
Stool Scenes, episode 91. Stay lit, folks.
Guys again.
Keep that hip weight low, dude.
Get in this part.
Keep that hip weight low.
What now?
I think that. I got to see here. It sounds like a hand sanitizer.
No, I heard it. I thought you were farting on it. Now I feel awake.
Me too. Whew. Super awake.